Sustainability is an afterthought.
Got it.
But like any other industry, the sooner you take it in, the cheaper it is. What, 10 acres of land, now 1,000 apartments, residential.
Absolutely.
They get the design, everything done, liaison officer will come in and MEP will later tell, Acha, by the way, you have to do this one rainwater harvest, you have to do this one solar. It's an afterthought.
We're living up to the name that we have here. It's 11-10 guys for those who are watching.
And so we decided we'll work B2B with corporates because the ripple effect of that is much better.
अगर मैं आपको बताऊंगा कि सस्टेनेबिलिटी के हमारे इंडिया के या वर्ल्ड के गोल्स क्या हैं और कैसे आप इसमें कंट्रीब्यूट भी कर सकते हैं, आपको शायद उतना इंटरेस्ट नहीं आएगा, क्योंकि आपको क्या ही फर्क पड़ता है कि अगर हम कार्बन एमिशन कम करें या ज्यादा करें, हमारी लाइफ की प्रॉब्लम्स खुद ही इतनी ज्यादा है, व्हाई डू वी रियली केयर? बट देन वी हैव टू केयर. तो मैं आपको आपकी लैंग्वेज में समझाने की कोशिश करता हूँ कि आज जो हमारे गेस्ट यहाँ पर आने वाले हैं वो क्या करते हैं और कैसे वो स्टार्टअप आपकी दिनचर्या, आपकी जिंदगी के लिए, आपके घर खरीदने की जर्नी के लिए बहुत ही इंपॉर्टेंट हो सकता है. तो चलिए मानते हैं आपने घर खरीद लिया, बधाई हो, पर प्रॉब्लम एक और है. घर खरीदने के बाद बॉम्बे ऐसे शहरों में अगर आप रहते हैं तो आपको एक और चीज का बहुत बड़ा भार उठाना पड़ता है और वो है मेंटेनेंस बिल्स. टिपिकली किसी भी घर को अगर आप 800-900 स्क्वायर फीट के घर में रहते हैं तो एक 10 रुपए स्क्वायर फीट से 11 रुपए स्क्वायर फीट का आपका मंथली खर्चा कहीं नहीं गया, अगर वो बिल्डिंग अच्छी है, उसमें कुछ अच्छी अम्यूनिटीज भी साथ में हो तो. पर अगर मैं आपको बोलूं कि ये जो स्टार्टअप है, इट कैन हेल्प यू इन मेकिंग श्योर कि ये जो खर्चा है मेंटेनेंस का वो ऑलमोस्ट आधा हो सकता है, यानी कि आपका मंथली बिल ऑलमोस्ट आधा आ सकता है. और ये जो हमारी स्टार्टअप आज हम फीचर करने वाले हैं, उनका नाम है स्मार्टर धर्मा और उनके फाउंडर हैं श्रीराम, जो हमारे गेस्ट हैं. वो इसी मिशन पे है, मेकिंग श्योर कि हमारे जो सस्टेनेबिलिटी के गोल्स हैं वो पूरे हो. तो चलिए बातें करते हैं उनसे, मिलते हैं और जानते हैं क्यों शुरू की उन्होंने ये जर्नी और क्या अचीव करना चाहते हैं वो. लेट्स वेलकम Shriram from Smarter Dharma. So Shriram, welcome to Sleepless Rangers, and I'm so glad you are here from Bangalore, and we're living up to the name that we have here. It's 11-10 guys for those who are watching. You're watching at your convenience, but we are shooting at ours. And the idea is very simple. I was looking forward to meet you for a very, very long time. And I would love that today I get to ask all the questions and make my knowledge about sustainability as a space. I want to feel more richer, and that's my idea. So thanks a ton for coming in, and I'm going to ask a lot of questions. So please
please feel free. I love that. Thank you for inviting me first and foremost and setting this up. Love to share our story. Love to share about sustainability. It's a problem here and now. So the more the merrier talking about it.
Absolutely. So Shriram, this is my first question to everybody. Among all the things that you could have done in your life, why this? Why Smarter Dharma?
Yeah. So I had version 1.2, which was, I was one of those million Indians who've done technology bachelor's, worked in the US, did a master's in tech in the US, worked for donkey's years in the US. Doing tech in Silicon Valley. I was working telecom actually.
Yeah.
Way before WhatsApp calling came in, I was working on voice over it. I'll leave it at that.
Got it.
But two things happened.
Yeah.
While I was working in Silicon Valley in Bay Area on tech, I also got involved with a non-profit called Association for India's Development.
Okay.
AID is a phenomenal organization. In fact, movie Swadesh was loosely based on the AID's founder story.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that was great. It really showcased, the social impact of climate change. Until then, I was conscious. I used to always think that I should not use plastic or turn off an extra light, and I used to feel good about it. But AID really shed this entire torchlight on the problem of social impact. I started understanding it's not just saving polar bears, which we should.
Yeah.
Or it's not just melting ice caps, which are, but this is much beyond that. It's a very personal, it's a survival of Homo sapiens story. I think that's what I understood.
Got it.
And I had an activist life.
Yeah.
I stood in front of Indian consulate in the US. I fought against BT Brinjal. I did saving farmers. Very actively involved in social issues in India related to climate change. Uh, in parallel, I went to business school. This led me to say that I should go study sustainability. So I went to Presidio Graduate School in San Francisco, which was then world's first business school focused on sustainability, leadership, and management.
Got it.
So I was one of the first Indians to do the program I did, and that was fantastic. I had this confluence of social impact of climate change and business school. I figured that I could make a career out of it.
Absolutely.
I wasn't sure will it be as lucrative as a tech job
Yeah.
sitting in Bay Area, but I was really empowered, and thanks to my wife's support, 2011 came back to India. 12 embarked on this journey of Smarter Dharma, and then the whole
Wow.
story of Smarter Dharma started. So I keep saying this is version 2.0 of my life. 1.2 was all tech in the Bay Area and activist.
So it's been 12 years now.
Yeah.
Wow. So I've got three questions now. AID, when you talked about, is it still there? Is it operational?
Yeah, it is. In fact, 2012, we won an award by Indian government.
Yeah.
Then Manmohan Singh's Prime Minister's government time as the most influential non-profit in India from outside of India.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a very, I would recommend to anybody, do check out aidindia.org. It's done some phenomenal work, and I was very, very lucky to be very active in work.
Super. I would. That's my first takeaway already. Okay. So my second question is little, different from the usual format that I do. You said that the tech job, which could have been lucrative, this field. What's your conclusion now? I'm pretty sure your answer would be that no, I take pride in what I do. But when I talk about purely lucrative, from a point of view of money as well, from a point of view of course, there's satisfaction of what you are doing. So where do you see that right now?
It's not grey. It's very clear that if I had continued in my tech job, staying in the US, I would have made a lot more money. I travel the location, I meet my friends there. They all make a lot more money.
Yeah.
The thing is, I don't feel bad about it. I'm very clear why I made this choice.
Yeah.
But as far as money is concerned, now here's the thing, bro.
Yeah.
The complexity of that question is many of what we do today in the Bay Area are not solving the fundamental problems of the world.
Absolutely.
They are at best touching periphery of some of these problems, but in most cases they are actually creating new problems, which are going to be very expensive down the line for us. So if you start looking at the big picture, is it lucrative? On a personal front, yes, maybe. We all, in our generation, in our lifetime, we'll all make more money and pass away.
Yeah.
But for us as a species, as humans, Homo sapiens, it's going to cost us a lot. Now, I had to figure out, am I going to be on that side of the fence or this side of the fence?
Great.
So the answer is very clear, I don't want to. But money-wise, I would have been a lot more richer first.
Super. So I have got one more question, which is about the conflict, which I'll come later. But let's focus on most important questions for today. And I would love our audience to know, what is it that you're doing at Smarter Dharma, right? What's his promise? How far in your journey have you reached?
Yeah. So I'll probably give you a slightly longer answer. And there's a reason why I need to. So when I did this whole nonprofit and go to Presidio and coming out, I came with this idea. It's amazing. Just before I moved back to India, I actually had this. Every year I used to come to India. I used to see everybody's on two-wheelers, everybody has a cell phone. I used to think I just want to slap a small solar panel on everybody's motorcycle, have the cable connected to their cell phone. We start solving energy problem in India. Then you come to India, first of all, you see Chinese products are around everybody's doing it. I really understood that the problem is much more deeper here. Problem is not just access to solutions. There are solutions, but they're in silos. There are energy solutions. There are water solutions. There is something to be done with waste, material access. All this is there. But we use the term holistic in every industry. But in no industry does it make real sense than climate sector. Because all these are very, very interrelated. Energy, water, waste. So the whole interconnectedness of the problem means the solutioning also has to be equally interconnected.
Got it.
And that is, to me, understanding, meaning in a more technical way to answer this is systems thinking is needed not just in solutioning, first of all in problem identification.
Sure.
And when you do that, and I should be thankful that I studied systems thinking in procedure when I studied, but that made me realize that, and this holistic approach should be taken to sustainability, and core to that is decision making.
Got it.
As an example, if you have to buy a pair of jeans, right? A normal average of what you do, you'll have a color, you'll have a brand, you'll have a price, you'll have a fit.
Sure.
And at the end of it, you'll go there and say, by the way, don't give me the plastic bag, I'll just take it in my own bag. Don't print the bill, and we'll feel good that we are sustainable.
Got it.
But it comes as an afterthought. After all the primary decision making is done, it's an afterthought.
Okay.
Only when you see the plastic, you think about it. It's the same thing related to our industry, which is real estate. Think of a real estate developer.
Yeah.
Now, the developer has 10 acres of land, now 1,000 apartments, residential.
Absolutely.
They get the design, everything done. Liaison officer will come in and MEP will later tell, Acha, by the way, you have to do this much rainwater harvesting, you have to do this much solar. It's an afterthought.
Got it.
Afterthought compared to the core. So if you see, there are two key problems I identified very early. One is that sustainability is an afterthought.
Got it.
But like any other industry, the sooner you take it in, the cheaper it is, financially speaking.
Okay.
Second, you will have more effective solution.
Understood.
It's easier, right? That's one. The second, empowering decision makers is critical in a holistic way. If you are told when you're buying a pair of jeans that, look, if you buy an organic cotton jeans, which is made whatever in a particular location where the amount of water consumed to make your cotton jeans is reduced by 500 liters.
Got it.
Which means there is one family's water for a day you are saving.
Understood.
And if 10,000 people buy like this, so many people's water is saved. If you are given that information, more often than not, I believe we will make the right choice. If you're not told and asked to be sustainable, why the hell and how the hell will you be sustainable? First of all, we'll even doubt it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing when it goes to a real estate developer. You want to build 1,000 apartments, 10 acres land, be sustainable is of no meaning to you. But if you're told that, look, you do these 5 things, you will hence make your tenant or a buyer or a resident life better by 30% reduction in their maintenance cost. Or if you do this, you will be able to sell at 6% higher top line.
Got it.
Then you are empowered to make a better decision. So Smarter Dharma identified these 2 things: the holistic, bringing decision making early,
Okay.
data-driven decision making for people.
Understood.
As the 2 problems.
Got it.
Third thing we identified is, and this comes from a non-profit life also, is sustainability is always looked at the challenge of resource in rural. But to me, urban world, not just India, urban world is setting the agenda of unsustainable living.
Got it. Okay.
And so if we can go to urban India and address sustainability, we will be solving the problem long term.
Okay.
Because rural India is just falling, and I'm giving examples of that.
Absolutely.
So we chose to work in urban India. We chose to work on data-driven decision making.
Okay.
We chose to work in this showcasing holistic. There are enough energy, water, waste. Can we put all this together and showcase their data to help decision makers so that they can make decisions early? That whole thing became Smarter Dharma's idea of how we work.
Okay.
Then the target, the target audience came up saying, should we do B2C or B2B? Now, you go back 11, 12 years ago, 2011, 12, 13, 14, nobody spoke the language of planning. Nobody understood, nobody knew what to do. So I had to figure out the best way to move ahead in this. So we figured we'll take a boutique consulting approach.
Got it.
And so we decided we'll work B2B with corporates because the ripple effect of that is much better. And so I know I've given a complex long
No,
answers, but I just
no,
wanted to
this is
explain.
good. This is
I hope that makes sense.
Absolutely. So one thing here, though, I would want you to point it out for our audience. हम लोग के यहाँ पे guest के form में EcoSTP से Tharuna है, Clergo team has come, right? And they have been solving a problem as well.
Right.
And one thing that I learned from them is even Portal Raja, right?
Yeah.
So they have the sustainable solutions, right? And they picked up one thing where they want to make it happen.
Right.
What is it that Smarter Dharma is becoming out to be, right?
Right.
Is it getting them all together? It is stitching, creating an ecosystem. What is it exactly where we can build a perception about that? Okay, मुझे ये चाहिए. I guess Smarter Dharma would be place to go.
Okay, thank you. So I gave you the big picture. Now narrowing down, real estate.
Got it.
Why real estate and what do we do?
Yeah.
First, what do we do? In general, in urban India, our aim is how can we simplify adoption of sustainability? And how do we simplify adoption of sustainability? Two things. We provide business value of sustainability.
Yeah.
And we provide data to simplify decision making.
Got it.
So we are in a way we are stitching all this together.
True that.
Right? And we have a platform. SD Plus is India's first sustainability resource planning platform. We call that like an ERP for real estate. Because what you have is, and how we work, I'll explain that also. So what we're saying is, now same use case, 10 acres, 1,000 apartments.
Got it.
As a developer, I would say I'll make 200 crore profit. Financial goal aa gaya. I'll say I'll build 1 million square feet. Square footage goal aa gaya. But when it comes to sustainability, everybody has this idea that kuch to karna hai, this is important, this is a problem. But they have no goals. The closest goal they have is I'll go for IGBC certification.
Yes.
IGBC Gold, IGBC Platinum.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not sufficient.
Got it.
And you can ask, even if you get the whole country every building IGBC Gold, will not move the needle towards decarbonization. So we figured that can we set realistic, tangible, achievable sustainability goals.
Okay.
So we start and we have a patent for that.
Okay.
You come and say, I have 1,000 apartments, 10 acre land, this is a zip code, this is a location. We'll be able to tell you, acha, you, based on various parameters, we do data mulching and come out and say, you could be 30% self-sufficient on energy. Okay. You could be 70% self-sufficient on water. You could be 20% decarbonized on your embodied carbon. We can set these goals. Now think of the goal people are trying to, people use the term net zero very easily. Yeah. It's the hashtag net zero is the big deal.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you ask anybody what does hashtag net zero mean, nobody has an idea.
Got it.
Right? So we're saying let's not put these unrealistic goals. I mean, the only way it can be net zero is don't construct. If you're in Mumbai, can you say don't construct?
Absolutely.
So the only thing is, can we give realistic goals? So we set this goal.
Yeah.
Then the whole idea rest of the time is how do we empower you to ensure you reach these goals? That includes pre-designing solutions, identifying vendors, market, material, that's where solutions like Portal Raja, EcoSTP, we got all these guys come in because we recommend them, we pre-size them, we tell the builder that this is the cost for these, this is a cost benefit value for you, economically, environmentally, here's the vendor, here's the contact information. So by the time builder ABC calls EcoSTP, they already know the price, they know the sizing. Tarunas just say, yeah, they have to just negotiate and close. So that's what we do.
Super. So now I would love that you to tell our audience, ये net zero आपने कहा कि लोगों को idea नहीं है. Can you give them an idea?
Fantastic. I'm glad you asked this question.
Yeah.
So if I say, I wish I was standing in a place where a lot of people are there and say, how many of you can raise your hand and say, net zero? None of us know, because net zero itself is a very loose term. I was in a conference last Friday in the Smart Building Conference in Delhi. And I was asked to speak about advancing net zero buildings.
Got it.
First definition of net zero in the Western world is net zero energy.
Okay.
California, for example, defined something called ZNE, which is zero net energy buildings.
Okay.
India is a lot more complex. In fact, every part of the world has, but more so for us at least. We are in this country. We have to talk water waste also. So we redefine, we're saying net zero should be net zero energy, net zero water dependency on external sources.
Okay.
Net zero waste going to landfills. Then net zero carbon as an outcome if you do the first three well.
Okay. Understood.
Carbon itself, there are two things: embodied carbon, operational carbon. But I'll leave it there. For
Got
now.
it.
But essentially, if you do net zero energy and we aim for that,
Yeah.
we say that all the required energy for this building survival is going to be renewable.
Got it.
Then you're net zero energy. All the water you need, you're not dependent on external sources, but either your borewell or the groundwater pulled by the borewell, or rainwater controlled, or treated water reused.
Yeah.
Which we frown upon, but almost all of us have been to either Middle East or Singapore or Japan. Any of these places, we are actually drinking sewage water. Singapore, we're drinking
Yeah.
sewage water.
Yeah.
Right? So it's a matter of time India is going to do that anyway. Mumbai again will think why, but other parts of the country are. We have 3 clients in Bangalore who are already doing that.
Yeah.
So then you can achieve net zero water. No waste going to landfill means every kind of waste has to be handled.
Wow.
So when you now say net zero,
Yeah.
tell me how many builders, I hope your audience has some builders, how many of you will put your hand and say, yes, I am net zero, I'd love to know. Nobody is doing
Got
it. Hence,
Got
we
it.
need to put realistic goals, which are still contributing to India's INDC.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to answer that if you want, but India has its own goals.
Yeah.
All the builders are the biggest, second largest contributors to it. So if
Yeah.
we do well enough, we can also help meet India's goals, otherwise we won't.
Got it. So since we mentioned real estate developers, builders,
I'm trying to play
Yeah.
wear the hat of activist and business.
totally. Let's do everything today because I'm gonna come to the business side of it. as well.
Yeah, please.
Okay. So the next 2 questions are like for all the real estate developers. If you are not watching so far, this is the section where you have to plug in and you have to start watching. Okay. So take me through a project. I'm a real estate developer in Navi Mumbai. I have a 60-acre land parcel. When do I onboard you?
Great question. So, first of all, and I want to make this statement very, very clear to everybody.
Yeah.
I hope it is not a complicated thing to adopt sustainability.
Yeah.
There is a misconception simply because we do not know or because we don't see the data. And I really want you all to, everybody to believe that adoption of sustainability is not complex. It is simple.
Yeah.
Now, it is like any other key criteria for a developer. So you want to sell well, you want to do it at the least cost, you want to build a brand, you want to gain marketing value, you want to build sustainable.
Fair.
If at that level you add it, that means at the concept stage you should come. We should be proper.
But that's what I'm asking. An ideal stage is when I'm
at the
thinking.
concept stage. Yes.
Okay. So let's take the ideal stage, right? Which is
You want to get a piece of land
yeah.
and you thought something.
ये प्रोजेक्ट बना रहे हैं हमें आइडिया लग गया है कि ओके दिस आर द मिक्स ऑफ दैट वी विल हैव इतना कमर्शियल इतना रेजिडेंशियल है कैसे होगा क्या होगा विल डिस्कस बट लेट्स हैव श्रीराम कमिंग सो लेट्स से वी हैव नाउ कमिंग नाउ टेल मी वन थिंग व्हाट इज इट विल यू डू नेक्स्ट आर यू गोना टेल देम दैट यू नो कि यहाँ पे रेजिडेंशियल बना सकते हो लेकिन कमर्शियल बना सकते हो कि नहीं आर यू गोना हैव दोस इंटीग्रेशंस एज वेल और you're gonna be आप बताओ कि कहाँ पे क्या आ रहा है let me try and put my solution in the best way possible to make it as efficient possible. How will that journey go?
So normally we don't do that business decision. Like we don't tell them कि इतना percentage residential करो, इतना commercial करो.
ठीक
But
है.
what we do, the key question here is understand the concept carrying capacity. तो 10 acre का land है. I need to know what is the optimal people it can host for energy, water, waste, etc.
Okay.
So that's a carrying capacity of the land. So where we come from is we use the concept of carrying capacity.
ठीक है.
We predict the occupancy.
Mhm.
We predict the consumption patterns of
Mhm.
resources. Then we do data mining to find out what is the available resource potential here.
Got it.
Marry all that and set sustainability goal. That's the first thing we do.
ठीक है.
We tell the developer, ठीक है, अभी ये 10 acre है, ये 1000 apartments है, you can achieve these things. We are your sustainability partner. Our platform will help you achieve these goals.
ठीक है.
That's the first thing we do. Then we work with them. So the way they take us is, so the builder typically will have an architect, consulting architect, an MEP team, structural engineer, landscape architect, or a consultant, and then Smarter Dharma.
Okay.
So we are on the table, we work with them. And again, I hope all the real estate developers listen is, we are not on the other side of the table. We are on your side of the table. We are here to.
Yeah.
We don't have any other personal agenda except to ensure your project achieves all the goals you set
Got
and is generating business value for you.
ठीक है. So now the goals are set. I believe based on your understanding, there are 4 broader funnels that you are operating upon, right? One is energy, one will be water waste, one is carbon, and the fourth would be
Waste, energy, water, and carbon.
carbon, right? Okay. So now these 4 funnels are something where you are working towards optimization. Now, my structures are more or less defined. That मैं इतने एकड़ में ये बनाऊंगा इतना operate.
Right.
Now, when I'm going about executing, how you go about executing it? So you get the best guys and best of the businesses. Like, would you have an EcoSTP coming in to solve the water, waste management problem, and a pothole Raja coming in for, let's say,
Material,
yeah,
certain material, yeah. So like that, we bring we automatically not only are calculating. I mean, the goals are set.
Yeah.
Once the goals are agreed by the developer,
yes,
then whatever solutions which will help them achieve that are also automatically set.
Okay.
So by the time the builder talks to an MEP consultant and architect,
yeah,
in this discussion, they are telling them, Acha, the platform and Smarter Dharma has given me an idea that my sewage STP should be 320 KLD,
mm-hmm.
and I should split my grey water and black water separately, and black water should be treated with 2 separate eco STPs or an equivalent natural water treatment plant. And the grey has to be converted into potable, at least if not, at least I need to have a setup for that. And it will be used back for using in these various areas. And the black water will be treated and used like this.
Okay.
So we already give them all this plan.
Got it.
So the builder then will talk to their MEP consultant. Acha, make my plan based on this. Okay. I don't need you to now give me the plan. I have the plan. This comes instantly for them.
Got it.
They don't have to go through the rigmarole of talk to the MEP, then multiple discussions. Pehle hum de dete.
Got it.
And that becomes a starting point. There will still be changes, but the builder, see, now the one who's signing the check is actually the builder, and post-occupancy is the facility manager. Everybody else is empowered, supporting them.
Got it.
But the builder ke haath mein information is always given by somebody else. They don't have it. They are powerless actually. Their arm is behind, twisted like this, and they have to sign checks. So that's why our platform approach is that we are your partner as a builder.
Got it.
And we're telling you, abhi aap dekh lo, you go talk to the MEP consultant and say what you need. Then they will tell, they agree. They will say, okay, great, you like the idea of grey, black, I'm giving Tarun lot of mentioning you. So we'll say, okay, use EcoSTP.
Yes.
They agree. We say, hey, here's a contact, here's a person. By the time they call Tarun, they know that 240 KLD will be the grey water car, 80 KLD will be this one. I'll just use another example. We will recommend EGOT as a smart water meter thing.
Yeah.
We'll say this is the size, this is the cost, everything will do. All that is calculated by our platform. So the builder already has all the information. By the time they call EcoSTP, EGOT, whoever, Clearco, they know what is the cost, they know the cost benefit analysis. And within that range, they have to make the decision. So it's easier for the vendor and the solution maker that unko to business aa raha hai. Builder doesn't have to break their head on what to do. They don't have to depend on the consultants.
Wow. So basically, the technology stack that you have developed has integration from their solutions.
Yeah.
And the developer is able to actually visually see the impact with the numbers as well.
Yeah. Okay. You can see today. In fact, we give numbers of 3 kinds, right?
Okay.
Or rather 4 numbers totally.
Yeah.
We are telling them. Now, this is the other big problem there. Builders will say, so builders have either because the market is demanding. Customers are asking, especially in other cities, customers are asking, can you guarantee water in the next 3 years? Can you guarantee my building is not adding more waste in the street? This is what actual customers are beginning to ask.
Wow.
In tier 1 cities in India, and our example is not just Bangalore, Hyderabad, a couple of builders in Mumbai told us their customers are asking. We have a product in Jaipur where people are asking these kind of questions.
Wow.
So people are, it might be a small trickle of people, right? But cities like Bangalore, it's an increasing trickle, not this trickle, right?
Got it.
So it could be that. It could be because mandates are becoming tighter and tighter and tighter, right? For example, rainwater harvesting is a mandate.
Yes.
Solar water heating for the top 2 floors is a mandate in Bangalore.
Got it.
if you're beyond a certain size of a community, you should have an STP. That's a
Yes.
mandate, right? There are mandates coming. So builders are like, shucks, mandates are changing constantly. I need to be prepared. So it's either that the customers are asking, they realize it's a USP, or the new builders. And if the builders who are not doing it, they need to be careful. Is younger next generation new builders are already getting conscious, saying, and I'm going to quote a builder in Hyderabad whose actual, and we're doing 2 projects with him. His actual words were, we are building an incredible amount of infrastructure over the next decade.
Yeah.
That means we have a responsibility about the impact of this. This was his exact words. And I said, I'm sold, we'll do this, right? So builders are, but where they're stuck is they don't understand what is its impact on them. So one of the first things our platform gives, the moment they load your data, and this has been our thing from day one when we got into the space, is we will say exactly what is the extra cost of sustainability if there is any extra cost. There are 1 or 2 projects, rare cases where we've saved capex for them.
Yeah.
But we are immediately telling you that, okay, 25 rupees per square feet you spend extra,
Yeah.
and these goals you can achieve.
Got it.
That is a big deal. Any time I meet builders, if I say, are you willing to spend 50 rupees extra? Suddenly they're like, Acha, now there's a number I can work with.
Got it.
Otherwise, they don't have a number. Sustainability is a very loose term. They're thinking you have to do something.
True that.
So we give that number. That's a big differentiator they've understood.
Super. So coming to numbers only, right? Now there are 2 kind of clients that you might be having. The one that you explained, कि जो हैदराबाद का client था, is able to understand कि जो हम infrastructure create कर रहे हैं, we have to balance it. But then a lot of clients that I have, they are what about other impact, right?
Yeah.
Which is money.
Which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me take the same narrative and try to give me an idea, maybe not like totally exact, but if I have a layout of this, again, 60 acre, let's say my potential revenue out of that is, let's say, 500 crores. Okay. This sustainability as a solution, at the execution level, how much is it is saving money for me, or it is not, it is more expensive? That is first question. Second is, okay, if it's expensive, in the long run, it is saving money from my customers.
Right.
If yes, then to what extent? Right? Can you put some tangible numbers around
Yeah,
these
yeah,
solutions?
absolutely.
Yes.
So like I told you, I didn't finish that and I got sidetracked, I think. There's the 4 numbers we give, right?
Yeah.
What is the capex? That number I told you, extra amount.
Yeah.
Second, we talk about the savings, operational savings when you run the building. If it is commercial, it's a slam dunk because I'm giving it out on lease.
Please, yeah.
I'm saving the money. We've seen 30% on an average possible of your maintenance savings. We have data from existing clients' data. Some of the existing buildings we work with also there is data. So savings are there. So if you're a residential project, you're selling it off, we're telling your buyers are saving this much money per square feet, per month, whatever, right? Third number, we're telling direct climate impact. All these builders love to showcase that I have saved 250 tons of carbon. We convert it into English. We say that means 85 cars off the road each year.
Yeah.
Right? The fourth number we talk is resource. We say that you're saving 120,000 units of energy. You're saving 40,000 kiloliters of water each year, fresh water each year. What does that mean? That means 2,000 tankers annually.
Okay.
So we give these kind of waste. May we say this is the number of tankers, trucks of waste not going to landfill. So many kgs of waste diverted from landfill. So we talk these 4 kind of numbers: capex, savings, environmental impact, and resource impact.
Okay.
Now, in terms of so the builder has they have 2 gains.
Yeah.
Even if they're spending a little capex. Rare cases we've seen reduction. In fact, commercial there's an easier chance of reduction. Residential there's slightly lesser chance of capex reduction, but they have some capex plus or minus, whatever, right?
Fair.
Savings, obvious savings are for the building, not for the resident. Residencies, tremendous savings. It comes in their maintenance, whatever. Right? That's a huge benefit basically. Examples range from 30% savings in residential. In commercial, I think places where they were selling at 9 rupees per square feet as a monthly fee came from almost 5 rupees 50 paise.
Wow.
Residential, mein, one of the example number I have is 3 rupees 50 paise per square feet. These are annual numbers, right? 3 rupees 50 paise per month, per square feet
Yeah.
per month thing. Best over a 30-month period. The best month was 1 rupee 21 paise per square feet. The worst month was 2 rupees 87 paise per square feet. Meaning
That's almost
almost 1 rupee.
30 to 70% reduction.
Yeah.
Play that you
So,
saw.
these are actual customers, and one of that builder's second project won a World Green Building Council award for the greenest apartment in Asia Pacific zone.
Wow.
So there are obvious savings is a no-brainer. Now for the builder, how we've been working, we've realized this is all we're talking about, the design.
Yeah.
And sitting here with you talking, this is a perfect segue also, is every builder then asks us, how do I sell this to my customers?
Yeah.
So we also do create marketing content.
Got it.
We convert this into saying, by doing this, you're saving so much.
This was money in the next 20 years.
Yeah.
That's,
So I have two clients, numbers, exact number I know, others I don't exact number, but these guys have actually gone ahead and put on a green fee and sold to customers. So they increase their top line.
wow.
One of the guy told me last 30% of his apartment he sold almost 250 rupees per square feet higher based on sustainability. We created an entire sustainability page for it. We give the content. So we are not the creative people, right?
Got it.
Their creative person sits with us. We work with their Birla in Mumbai. We've been working on a project on just giving the creative content for their marketing and sales team. With Brigade, we have done this. With Assets, we have done it. Provident recently, we have done. So a lot of these guys use this service also. Design to hai,
Got it.
but this has become a.
But this is good. This is a new
Okay.
category.
Yeah.
Though the customers may not like it at the face value, but when they understand it,
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
it can create a category awareness and maybe.
Yes, yeah, I'll tell you, that's the
Sure.
thing, right? That's the most important thing. I think we, real estate people, the stakeholders, somehow believe the customer is unintelligent, which is a mistake. India is a very kitna deti hai country. If you talk numbers, people will understand. It's just about telling the numbers in the right way. You present the information in the right way, they'll take it.
Brilliant. I've got something for you. I'll talk about it after we shoot the episode.
But that's the thing. So we
Understood.
figured, and just last thing on this is, so Smarter Dharma, we started focusing narrowed to real estate about 2015.
Yes.
2015, 2016. Uske pehle and even a little after also, there were obviously non-real estate companies we worked with.
Yeah.
Swiggy, for example, was a client of ours.
Okay.
We worked with Swiggy's kitchens, making them more sustainable.
Got it.
We worked with Swiggy to move away from plastic spoons to bamboo spoons. The reason I'm bringing that up is to say all these other non-real estate customers also had the same question. They paid us to help them communicate their sustainability adoption to their customers. That is a big requirement in this space.
Got it.
And highly understood simply because we all have a chip on the shoulder. I'm solving a social problem. Why the hell should I do marketing?
Got it.
Should do it.
Absolutely. Understood. So now tell me one thing. How do you guys make money? Where is it that, in this role play, you guys are ending up making money?
Yeah.
It's pure consulting, or is there is there recurring? Is there? So if I'm a developer, I onboard you. Maybe you can shy away from talking about the exact numbers, but give me an idea so that the audience.
Yeah.
Numbers get.
So we moved. We were consulting earlier.
Yeah.
But we have shifted steadily. This year we moved into technology first.
Okay.
So now they have to pay a license fee for the platform.
Okay.
And if they need advanced services, that's a consulting service on top of it.
Okay.
But primarily they get a platform. The marketing training, the sales team, marketing team content is a more consulting thing.
Yeah.
But we have steadily moved this year into a platform play, and this by end of the year will primarily be a technology. Any real estate developer at a pittance license fee, they'll get a platform, and all this while though it was consulting.
Okay. So this platform, when they take, will they be able to work with anybody else for the consulting part of it?
That's the beauty of it. That's right.
Okay.
Look, we have a bold goal, man.
Yeah.
This I'm very immodestly probably going to say is here's a number, okay? The world annual carbon footprint is 43 billion tons. Okay?
Yeah.
My carbon footprint last year was 10.8 tons. 10.8 tons for a guy who traveled twice out of the country, in a lot of travel in India, versus 43 billion tons is not, it's not even a rounding off it.
Yes.
It's a rounding off, right? So, Smarter Dharma has mitigated about 46,000 tons of carbon. Okay?
Okay.
That is chiller, as you can see, 100th, not in 100th, is 1/10,000th of the big picture.
Got it.
So we have set ourselves by 2030 to mitigate 1 billion tons of carbon.
Got it.
To be the catalyst. We know we cannot do ourselves, and I'm a strong believer that, like I said, holistic, to address climate change, we all have to work together, including we have to work together, right?
Got it.
So if we have to do that billion tons,
Yeah.
the only way is technology propagated across the country.
Yeah.
We can't be the feet on the ground. So tomorrow you are a developer in Guwahati.
Yeah.
You have the platform to use. You need additional support, feet on the ground. We'll recommend a consultant fee.
Yeah.
We have a marketplace now where there are material and solutions. 2-3 new consultants have come and asked us, can we be on the marketplace? So our aim is that consultant in Guwahati will use our platform and work for the developer.
Understood.
And that's the only way we'll scale.
Super. Oh, makes sense. So, okay, now that we've talked about how you make money, let me come to the fact that
Last piece, can I add?
Yeah, feel free.
So we have also, I mean, adoption of sustainability is broken in 3 kinds. There is what I told all this while. There is somebody who would say, I want to pick a more sustainable water treatment plant, more sustainable paint, whatever. So we have the marketplace. There's no marketplace in the country which says, I want to look for a sustainable paint, a windowsill, a door, whatever. Our marketplace has the data now. You can look it up. The initial version is out. Third thing people look for most of the builders is certification.
Okay.
IGBC certification is still Excel sheet based. Every consultant in the country uses the Excel sheets. So we've automated that.
Okay.
May 20th, the first version out for residential. Any residential building certificate can be done automated on the platform.
Wow.
So with these 3, we feel like we've covered pretty much all the bases for sustainable adoption and made it easy.
Super.
Our goal is to make it easy for everybody, and with these 3 legs we'll do. And we'll get, it's a SaaS model there, right? You pay for the basic license, then you want access to the certification, there's a little extra. That's what we do. That's the shift we're going to. Our revenue will fully be based on the platform.
Super. So, Shriram, the next question that I have for you is to do with the traction that you have got. Like, आपकी जर्नी को 12 साल हो गए. थोड़ा सा हम लोग को ये बताइए कि कोई इन्फ्लेक्शन पॉइंट हर एक कंपनी के लिए, हर एक एंटरप्रेन्योर की जर्नी में एक आता है. Have you got an inflection point? And when did this come? And in the overall journey that you believe that आपने 2020 का गोल बोला है, अब उस पे अभी होगा पे, like that's 20%, that's 30% of your narrative. This is where I was coming from. And one more interesting thing, last month I guess, MCHI CREDAI MOU with you. What was that about? What are you going to do there?
That's an exciting MOU. So I think, and kudos to MCHI for that. They figured that sustainable adoption needs a partnership, a structured approach.
True.
Say that. And we have been brought on board to bring that structured approach.
Got it.
MCHI created a 2040 vision for Mumbai.
Yeah.
And that vision has some fairly good goals. But that's 2040.
Yeah.
They need the steps. And they can't be just baby steps. But obviously, first few years will be that. So we've been brought on that. In fact, I'm in Mumbai right now because I met the team and we created a plan on what will we do over the next few years and next 2 years.
Yeah.
And how would we scale from there. And that fits into the first question.
Okay.
MCHA is a good example. We are in talks with IGBC to see how can we help accelerate adoption of technology and certification also. So I think some of these partnerships will help us. That's how we'll quickly flip and really get those numbers. We believe we have an opportunity to get the 2030 goal based on a few levers. The most important lever is technology. That shift happened in 2019. Yeah. So, like I said, I have a background in tech.
Yeah.
I always knew the traditional but yet very, very logical, sensible approaches. The idea is to mature, and we matured the idea by 2018. We did about, I would say, 28-30,000 tons of carbon by then. And we understood really well buildings and what we are doing and what we should do.
Yeah.
The goal setting, access to vendors and solutions, all that we built.
Yeah.
So when we said we'll flip to technology, it made a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So in the journey of a startup and scaling, the ideation and all that stuff is done. And when scale, my idea also was the same, that scale will come with technology.
Absolutely.
And so we have done this. We are now on the journey of technology. We recently launched the beta version of the software. We have a few licenses sold. We just got into that. 2023 is a critical year for us.
Okay.
We're also just closing around for funding to scale this idea. We're
Okay.
doubling our tech team, building a lot of other resources around that. So we think in the next 12 to 18 months, we're going to do a massive upswing.
Got it.
And then two other levers will move. One is we're expanding on geographies. A logical move up would be Middle East. Similar construction style. A lot of Indian developers go there, so we know that we can go into that space. Second is the US. US is very promising because, and I used to think it is mature, but actually, I mean, as in it's saturated. But states like California, Colorado, Texas, Florida, all these guys have actually set aside money for affordable housing.
Yeah.
And California has a law that starting January 2020, every residential project has to be zero net energy. And starting 2025, every commercial building has to be ZNE.
But isn't there too many people who are operating in the space to consult them? And
That's the thing, right? If you see the life cycle of a building from a concept to post occupancy, there are various steps: design, implementation, occupancy, post occupancy, whatever. Right? There are technology solutions for the architects and the consultants, like the Autodesk of the world. There are post occupancy solutions like smart jewels, measurable, etc.
Yeah.
But nothing which is helping the builder and being life cycle into it. There's nothing which is starting at concept all the way to post occupancy. That's a gap we feel.
In the US market is what you're saying?
Even in the US market. There is the closest we have is a company called Cove Tools.
Okay.
It's a company I like. It's a company based out of Atlanta. Incidentally, and it started by an Indian architect in Atlanta.
Okay.
And there is I would say about 30-35% overlap between them and us.
Okay.
They're also doing design and empowering. They come and say, this is the best combination of solutions for you.
Wow.
These two are overlap for us. They don't have a vendor marketplace. We have a vendor marketplace.
Yeah.
I'm not here to compare. I'm just trying to say that the fact that they are there tells you that this is needed. But very few people are trying to say, at the concept and design stage, how do I inject sustainability? And that's the gap which is there in the US also. I mean, Cove Tools is there. We think we can go and augment and build on that. So in the 18-month period, if we are able to spread across India first, at the 18th month, we think that we will start considering one of the two geographies.
Because I always thought that sustainability as a theme for the US market. There's a huge money there, and people are just like, anybody goes with an idea, they're getting money.
This is a podcast in itself, okay? I'm going to tell you that this is so I'm trying to be figuring out the right ways to say this.
I get it. Feel free. Don't worry.
See, the US is a very tricky market, as in, most of the vast majority of the country does not want to change themselves. And they are riding on the misconception that sustainability is a government decision.
Yeah.
Or it's other countries too.
Got it.
But they are still the second largest. In fact, per capita, they are the largest carbon emitter in the world.
Yeah.
So quantum, China is first, America is second, India is now a distant third.
Got it.
But per capita, if you see, per person,
Yeah.
they are almost still 5 times more than one Indian citizen. US is almost so. US consumption or greenhouse gas emitting in the US is huge. There are various reasons, but will they change? I don't think they'll change. It's a tough market. But I think if you work with real estate developers for other reasons, mandates wise, there's an opportunity. That's why we feel we will go there. We will go to Middle East, but it's about 18 months from now.
Okay.
At this instance, we're on the path of technology to build a product. We have a lot more things to build on the platform.
Got it.
We've got great feedback. People are beginning to have more people use it. But we think the next 18 months, if we do well, we would have spread across the country in India. At least all the key, like the next 12 months, just to give you a short, immediate thing. we identified 10 cities where most development is happening in the country.
Yeah.
And so we've chosen that. Our aim is to build on to those 10 cities first, and into the second year spread into another 40 more cities. That will cover most of the major construction in India.
Got it.
And while we spread organically that way in India, we'll start figuring out these two countries.
Understood.
That's the kind of roadmap here.
So tell me one thing. When we talk about the government projects, at that point of time, who is doing this consultancy? Who's solving these problems?
Yeah.
And like when you were signing a contract with CREDAI MCHI, I know for sure that it is not just one way where they are consulting developers and they may give you a inroad and there would be a mandate for it. They do sit with the governments for the DP plans, and those directions do happen, and they do play an important role there. So is the MOU that has happened, has that part also included into it, that for the DP plan that is coming for the city, the sustainability goals, city as a whole, there will be something where you will be able to contribute towards?
So I think it's a very important question, and we need to work with a lot of players here and work on the structure for any city. India has a 100 smart city roadmap. It's an insane roadmap, and housing for everybody. That itself means a lot of infrastructure is going to be built. So government has a role to play. At this point in time, we are not actively working with government. MCHA is the closest. Many years ago, we worked with AP government in 2016 when the state split. We continue to do some work with the tourism ministry in Karnataka.
Got it.
But to work with the real estate and infrastructure development actively, we have not yet. And going back to the roadmap here, right? How do we hit the 2030 goal? Technology will scale to a point where we know that we have to work with policy agencies to normalize this.
Got it.
So the example I give is the following. Accidents were happening in 80s then or 70s, and there were helmets, and initially people who felt conscious about it started wearing helmets. And there were two data points which are going: accidents will continue to happen, but wherever helmets were more, accidents reduced. Enough for the government one day to get enough push to say we should
make it mandatory.
Once they made it mandatory, not wearing is you're breaking the law. Right? So wearing helmet was normalized with policy.
Got it.
Same way we feel, we will show enough data, enough value, enough impact through the projects, hundreds of thousands of projects if we're done over the next couple of few years, enough to go and push policy impact. So that's when finally we'll make the 2030 number. That's why the first person who's come on board for me was somebody who's done a public policy program in IIM Bangalore, who understands, who really deeply understands the policy potential for moving the needle in climate change. He's the first guy I brought on board, and he's been actively running the operations of it. And that's why we call our platform also a data science platform, not a input process output. Right? Because if we have data, thousands of data points from our buildings, and I'll give a very specific example. I know I'm stretching, but I'll tell you what the assurance of this, right? So think of OC. When OC is given, no state will tell you, this is a 1,000 apartment community, this is a 100 apartment community, this is a 200 apartment community. They'll just say, manage solid waste, do solar PV, do solar water heating. Now, for a 1,000 apartment versus 200 versus 100, if you say solid waste management, the sheer space required changes. A 100 apartment community needs maybe 300 square feet. A 1,000 apartment community needs 500 square feet space. If that is not known to the builder and they don't do it, set a space aside. At our OC time, when the government individual comes to check, if I'm just showing a 100 square feet place, they'll say, it's a checkbox saying, as far as OC is concerned, for MSW, they have space. Actually, is it going to work? It's the same thing, think a little more particular. So, STP, we studied 120 STPs, communities in Bangalore in 2016 through some project. And we saw nearly 60% of this, and I won't name the communities, but in Whitefield, Whitefield is one of the most progressive part of Bangalore. There were nearly 60% of the STPs either were mal-sized, meaning you need to have X scale for certain size of apartment.
With Tarun now.
You know that, right? So that's a data point. Before I knew Tarun, we did this and we understood that. So why? Because OC is so vague. But imagine now I go to government and say, because here's hundreds of thousands of data points. Now I'm telling you, don't give an OC until and unless they show you this size. And I give a calculator to them.
Solid.
Or I say, you're approving a new project in this community on this street. This street is already over-utilizing all the resources.
Got it.
You should not approve it. Can I show data to the policymaker and then convince them? So I think the power of SD Plus, our platform, our work,
Yeah.
will reach its full potential when we finally empower them.
Super.
So our journey, that's when we'll hit the 30. I know that we'll do that. But iske liye this journey currently working with every developer, MCHA partnership.
Yeah. This. No, I'm wishing you that, now that Pawan sir is the one who did this, he's now gone, become the
CREDAI,
president
yes.
of CREDAI.
I know, I was
So
excited.
go make a dent in
Yes.
India level. And let me come to the audiences. Shriram just talked about two things. He said OC. OC is called Occupation Certificate. आप जो लोग घर खरीद चुके हैं उनको मालूम है कि आप किसी भी घर का अगर ओसी नहीं है तो आप वो घर नहीं खरीदते हैं, बिकॉज वो एक अप्रूवल है कि इस बिल्डिंग के अंदर सारी की सारी चीजें सही तरीके से बनाई गई है, और वो गवर्नमेंट जब अप्रूवल देती है, जो भी लोकल बॉडी अप्रूवल देती है, तभी आप उस घर में शिफ्ट कर सकते हैं. उससे पहले शिफ्ट किया तो आपका जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है वो खर्चे में है, प्रॉब्लम में है, एंड वो खर्चा आपका वेस्ट जा सकता है. तो प्लीज मेक श्योर जब whenever you're buying a home, OC is checked. And the second part what Shriram added कि OC देते हुए the local bodies take care of a few things, जिसमें उन्होंने बात किया STP का. हर एक जगह के रेगुलेशंस अभी अलग हैं, बट STP से रिलेटेड आपको जो भी जानना है, there's an episode that we did with Tharun of Eco STP. You can log into that video and see more details of it. Now coming back to you, so I heard that your TAM is not limited to just the India market. I thought that that's where you're making an impact, but the way you explained that कि US में जो opportunity है, that's damn huge.
Yeah.
And if you are able to create an opportunity there, I want to really know how are you right now placed when it comes to money raising, fundraising. The investors, are they really excited towards what you're doing? Because typically a lot of startups in PropTech, when they have come, one thing is very clear that this is not been a very sexy place, but sustainability has had its backers, people who really believe in this space, and they have been really going above and beyond to support the cause. How has been your experience in fundraising so far?
Yeah, no, good you asked this. So basically consulting was keeping us fine.
Yes.
We were okay. But the moment we pivoted and we said we don't now build technology to scale, tech is not cheap. We spoke earlier, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Tech is going to cost me, and so we realized we'll raise money.
Got it.
Thankfully, we are on the verge of closing. We've got term sheet, everything, and we've got lead investors. All that stuff is going on.
Super.
I'm hoping by end of the month I'll be announcing also. So that's great.
Sure.
We got great investors who really believe what we're doing, and
Yeah.
I've got a blend of folks who are saying, "Show me financial value," and folks who are saying, "Show me carbon value," and it's a perfect blend for us.
Wow.
Now, as a space, now here's how an investor look. I'm an advisor who she's been very nice. She knew the space and she's been advising me about whom to reach. So we've been carefully talking to a few people. It's not like we did carpet bombing and met a lot of them. But we met a few people who there's a what do you say, like-mindedness and bandwidth का match होता है. So we spoke to folks there. Now, any industry, the knee-jerk reaction people have is when they look at Smarter Dharma, they'll think, should we consider them as an aggregator? And aggregators are usually taken when an industry matures.
Got it.
थोड़ा mature होने के बाद suddenly, अच्छा, now is the time to get an ERP.
Makes sense.
When other things, right? So initially people thought of us like that, but I think very quickly they realized that PropTech, even though as you rightly said, it's been not a hot thing
For India.
for India especially. But because of the confluence of PropTech and sustainability came in, people liked. Some feedback obviously was scale. Some challenge was real estate industries. Real estate industry, it's not super fast in adopting technology. But now they see the fact that more and more people are signing us on. The developers feel excited about it, and the investors feel excited about it. So we're closing now, and all the people who spoke about, and if we get the numbers we think we will hit, they're all happy to jump on for the next round. So I'm gung ho about it now. If you had asked me this question 2 years ago, I would have been a lot more skeptical.
Got it.
But I think something changed just after COVID or during COVID. I think the whole, just last year,
Yeah.
I know this you didn't ask, but I'm going to tell you this,
Yeah.
is 21-22 to 22-23, there's a sea change in the maturity towards climate change, very quickly changed.
And what led to this?
I think it's a combination of three things.
Mm-hmm.
One, this whole COP21, COP26, a lot of
Got it.
eyeballs on that. Lot of younger people talking about it in general. It's just in the air.
Got it.
So there's almost a feeling of FOMO for mid-aged businesses.
Yeah.
Every business wants to. Then mandates. Government is coming out with mandates. I don't know if you know this, that 2023 is the new law, right? Top 1,000 public companies in India must report their ESG.
Yeah.
It is part of their reporting this year. They have to do it. So that means they have to do. That has come. I think third, and this is the most important thing, is all this while, till 1819, climate change was a next generation problem. This whole talk we had was we should leave the world a better place for the future.
Yeah.
But suddenly, it's like here and now.
Got it.
You are seeing the change front and center. It's no more. It's a very ultimately work towards climate change is a very selfish motive.
Got it.
So it's
Absolutely.
hitting people. So I think that's changed. It's fascinating. Pre 2017 there was one thing. 18 May first shift I saw, and 22 is a massive shift. It shows that our financials have been the best ever in 22.
I'm sure.
Never had the kind of a year we had 22 before.
Did you always know that one day you'll make money in India? There could be a chance, right, where you're like, am I gonna get to 50-year-old? Then the money will roll in at this inflection point will come.
Yeah.
Did you have the jitteriness ever?
I didn't have jitteriness. I always felt we'll make money. I think that business school really gave me that confidence I'll make money.
Got it.
The only question was how much. That was the thing, and that I think inflection point came. I think post 2018 that confidence skyrocketed. I think the big self boost was 2016 was one for me when I became an Ashoka fellow. 18 was when I saw first shift in the trend in the industry, and just because again to elaborate a little on that, pre 2018, right? When we used to meet somebody, I always had to answer two questions. First was, what is climate change?
Yeah.
Why is this impacting your industry? And how are you accelerating climate change? I have to explain that. The second question would be, okay, what can you do? What can we do for you? What should you do?
Got it.
Post 2018, the first thing went up. Nobody's anymore asking me, what is climate change? Why should I do something about it? They're asking, okay, what do you think I should do? Which was a big shift.
Yeah.
So we saw business become better. From purely talking business now. 18 ke baad, 17 ke baad, 18 se we saw one shift in terms of numbers.
Got it.
Last year is no more, the sales cycle became faster.
Yeah.
It could also be technology now, but whatever, right? We had multiple things. But sales cycle became faster, bigger ticket size, more geographies. It just changed. I think it's been a good.
Super. Well, I'm pretty sure. Now I'm pretty sure.
And I think next
you're gonna make a lot of money. That is one thing that I'm aware about.
I'll hold you for myself.
Rest assured. Okay. So now I'm coming to the last section of our engagement, and there I have two signature questions. Okay. The first one is pretty simple. You have to name two PropTech startups from India, right? You cannot name anyone else.
India.
You cannot go outside India.
Okay.
From India.
India. Okay, that's tricky. Okay. Anyway, one is a no-brainer, man. I'm a huge fan of Snap2.
Okay.
Snap2.
I thought Altaf, thanks. It's been put here.
Altaf runs.
I have to get Altaf here on the couch.
You should get Altaf. I think.
Yeah.
Altaf, you should come here. He's in India right now. We should talk to him.
Okay, I will.
I like it. I'm hoping I don't need to talk much about it, but I think he took on a big problem.
Got it.
He actually solved a very simple thing.
Yeah.
Today looks no-brainer, but I think he picked it up phenomenally.
Absolutely.
But then he morphed into something where it's a David versus Goliath story, and if it does it well, the sky's the limit for him.
Absolutely.
I'm constantly looking for him, rooting for him. Yesterday we were trying to hire somebody, and I was telling this person that if not us, go to Snap2. So I was actually telling her to go to Snap2. Now that's Snap2. Now that you cut me from the US market, there was a fantastic company in the US, even though you didn't ask, I will name them after the second Indian.
Sure.
Now, I think in India, there are umpteen. I have been selected as a mentor by the G20 summit in India for mentoring startups, founders under 25 solving problems in India.
Wow.
And I'm meeting some phenomenal companies.
Wow.
So it's been a great learning also for me, right? But there's one company I mentored last year for a different reason. It's a company called Carbon Craft,
Okay.
run by a guy called Tejas.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking carbon, and converting it into tiles, carbon tiles. So we've actually,
Wow.
it's already on a marketplace. We recommend it to some of our customers.
Wow.
He's actually using carbon and making something useful out of it. Yeah, it's a brilliant idea.
Super.
It's a great idea. I've seen the tiles.
Yeah.
You cannot make out any difference except you feel good about it.
Super.
They're capturing carbon from various.
I know this. I know somebody in this space. I'm not supposed to talk about it right now. That's how.
But
I'll talk about it off camera.
yeah, so people talk about carbon capture, and there's this idea in Europe somewhere where they're trying to take it in, or actually in the US only, taking it down into the ground and putting it. I think that's not an efficient thing to do.
Got it.
This is what we should do. We convert it into a product and bring it back in the
I
market.
know. This.
And Carbon Craft is a company. So as an Indian company, I would put that in.
What scale have they reached so far?
Oh, he's not yet big, but
Okay.
I think he's got all the right
Ingredients.
levers now, and he's moving quickly. He's got the right mentoring. He's present, and it's not from any of the tier 1 cities. That's the beauty of that idea.
Wow.
It's from a tier 3 city.
And that is?
Hubli.
Oh my God. Lovely.
He's come from Hubli, and he's doing a phenomenal job. I'm a huge fan of his idea. I've known him, he's become a good friend. Definitely one company to look for.
Done.
He's in the market now to raise money and all that, so he's good.
That will happen.
Now, I definitely want to name this company.
Please feel free.
I have no relationship with them. I just love the idea. Fractional. Fractional is about fractional owning of real estate.
Yeah,
As an idea, the company is called Fractional.
Yeah.
I think they're the first ones to come up with. Now there are a few days.
Absolutely.
So yeah, if you know the idea.
And why do you like them?
Because I like the idea that I think it democratizes ownership, and you can always get value out of it. And I think the next generation doesn't care about suddenly. So see, real estate ownership also has investment value, right?
Yeah.
I don't have to invest with a huge amount of money.
No.
I think that's what it is. I think next generation is not going to care about owning a home. I think ownership of homes will drop. I was today in an event where a very big gentleman, I don't know if I could name him, but he did say that future is not about ownerships.
It's the services.
And that fractional is going to be then ahead. They're going to present the financial model for easing this ownership.
Yeah.
So that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's I'm sure the idea is somewhere in India. I don't know if anybody.
I guess he mentioned that Uberize the model of home ownership. I'm not there, but I follow everything there.
Yeah.
So I have a different debate. That's for different podcasts. Maybe I'll talk about it because there's a different point of view, which I'm pretty sure he's a very respected gentleman, no doubt about it. But there's something that I'd love to engage upon. So okay. Now, coming back to the last question that we have in this section, and this one you can breathe in, take time, but you got to be very clear about what you respond.
Yeah.
So, Smarter Dharma is a man or a woman? Let me take it as a man.
Make it a woman.
Make it a woman. Okay, so if Smarter,
I'll also give you a reason why it's a
so
woman.
tell us about her day when she wakes up in the morning and when she finishes the day.
Right.
What is it that lady would end up doing without compromising on the true vision or the mission that you have? Like, if you have to be there in 30, every day counts. Today, what will she achieve? And she will have to achieve, and she can't hit bed before it.
Yeah, I like this one. Why women, by the way, I'll just tell you for a second. I think, man, this is one more long answer, but I won't go full long answer. I think a key problem, and this is one of the reasons, again, Ashoka strengthened the idea, is we lost empathy towards nature.
Yeah.
There's enough examples I can tell you. My own life story, but across all of us, we've lost empathy towards nature.
Yeah.
And so the core problem is that we actually did a study, and I think it makes sense to talk, especially kind of audience go to listen. We did a study with a bunch of architects, with a bunch of students, with a bunch of techies, with a bunch of financial people, with a bunch of social enterprises, entrepreneurs, and a bunch of resident welfare associations, a bunch of housewives. So what we found, right, in all this, when we say why is there not enough action towards climate change, what is the knee-jerk reaction? Most of us are, awareness mind. What we found, we did focus group discussions with all these groups. What we found is people have awareness. It could be fractured awareness, meaning partial awareness. They may not say 1.5 degrees change हो तो क्या होगा. They may not know कि COP21 में क्या होगा. They may not know all that. They may not know, but they will know कि construction बहुत है, air pollution. Vehicles बहुत है, air pollution. Water is depleting, Bangalore is running out of water, Shimla is running out of water, etc. इतना तो पता है. But there is not enough action. So there is a gap. There is some awareness. Still no action. We figured there was only one group where we found action. That was social entrepreneurs. And that's because the missing piece, the link between these two is empathy. We've become, it's like in India today, when you see a beggar on the street, we have apathy towards it. अभी है तो है, लगा तो वो सेकंड में अगर लगा 10 रुपए 20 रुपए या 50 पैसे whatever, right? We just give and walk away. We इतने देखे हैं, we become apathetic towards it. Climate change also will become that. अगर गर्मी है AC ऑन कर लो, सर्दी है heater ऑन कर लो. We have consciously moved away from being one with nature to making my own localized ecosystem rather than what is needed. That's because we lost empathy with nature. I think it's important to build empathy.
Got it.
And women have a stronger empathy building capability than men. Hence, Smarter Dharma is a she.
Got it.
But it is this discussion. Alright. So, what does she do? I think she starts with having a plan for the day where she would think of what she did yesterday.
Okay.
What is she going to do today?
Okay.
And what are the challenges, roadblocks? This is something which all of us do as a team, and I'm going to say Smarter Dharma is. But then, her work involves multi-pronged. One of it is constantly talking to our this whole internalization. I said, right? How do we build empathy? How do we? So it's providing information at various levels in this journey of real estate. So she's talking to the leaders in real estate organizations, constantly giving them information on, look, this is what others are doing. If you do, this is the value you'll get. Why, as an organization, your brand, by adopting sustainability, will become better. So, एक तो she's talking to the leaders. दूसरी बात, she's talking with the project का specific architects and all. At that time, her data, the platform or the Excel sheet she works with, उसमें one thing she's fiercely driven by is, can I give numbers to empower that architect and the building ka PMC ko to approve for the decision she is recommending. So she will work with water, energy, waste solutions together, Excel sheet, and what else can I do new? So she's got a small team. She's always working on other new solutions to come in. But everything goes into how do I present these numbers into a palatable way for the decision maker. That's like an iterative model. तो उसका तो चलते रहता है.
Got it.
What she takes back by end of the day when she does is, not only are these decisions moving ahead, but new things are being picked up. I think the key part is that learning part which happens.
Got it.
So there are two iterations जो चलते रहते हैं. एक तो projects पे चल रहा था. But we have learned more and more strongly that there is a huge learning component of Smarter Dharma's work. And in fact, our fundraise is also about building on that piece. We call it the R&D team. But she's constantly learning. And why this is critical is, immodestly we'll say we are experts in this space. But climate change is so complex, sustainable adoption is a big ocean.
Yeah.
हम simplify कर रहे हैं.
True that.
So she is constantly trying to simplify, but that means she has to also learn a lot.
Yeah.
So a huge portion of her day, not huge, okay, a significant portion of her day goes into learning. So learning का cycle चलते रहता है. By the end of the day, not only has she worked on a couple of projects, but she's also learned new things, which next day she'll use it in many of those projects. I think those are the three things: empowering and enabling leaders internalize and make sustainability a main core value. दूसरा projects पे काम करेंगे. But तीसरा, she's learning a lot.
Got
And that's what we do.
Superb. I believe this is very well articulated. And the audiences are going to believe that I gave you a lot of time, but that is not the
That's not
reality.
true at all.
And so with this, Shriram, we come to the closure of our engagement. And thanks a ton. So guys, when I started the episode, I told that Sleepless Rangers का context दिया कि हमने 11 दिन में शुरू किया. Right now it's 12:30. This man has traveled from Bangalore. He's attended an event. He's here. And do you really believe that it's 12:30 a.m.? That's what this is about. Sleepless Rangers. Because यार जो आप मिशन पे निकले हो, नींद आती है, health के लिए बहुत जरूरी है. But this anxiety for doing something better tomorrow, that keeps everybody going. And this is infectious. And Shriram, I believe I enjoyed this engagement a lot. I learned a lot. I have a lot of other questions. I'll keep asking you all, all the engagement that we'll do in the future. But for now, thanks a ton. And I believe all the people who saw the episode, you will also take back a lot of learnings. There are 2-3 startups that he talked about. Fortunately, they have been our guests in the past. So if you have already wrapped this, make sure that you visit those episodes as well. And thanks a ton, Shriram, for coming in and being so awesome.
I definitely want to say one thing, that if you think my energy is good, you have to personally meet Google. I will say that, not just because he's interviewing me today and I'm in his office, but I'm just saying that whatever I've known him for 3.5-4 years.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. I think that's why he's able to run what he's doing.
Thanks a ton.
That I truly mean. I told you outside also, right? You should continue doing
No, it's very exciting. Invariably, this phase of my life where I'm meeting the entrepreneurs, I believe it is just giving me a new vibe, a new energy altogether. And I'm looking forward, all the people who watch it, I'm pretty sure and I hope that this vibe gets caught on to you guys as well. We want more and more people joining us, talking about the agendas and the topics we were working towards. And here, specifically in your case, I believe it's a very important subject. And as you said, awareness is our action is very important. And I hope this is what we're able to bring. And with that, thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us. We will see you on the next Wednesday with next entrepreneur. One more entrepreneur will join us on the episode. Keep watching us and keep liking the videos and keep watching all these special episodes and the guests that we are getting on the couch at Sleepless Rangers. Thank you.
Thanks.